Pictures not seen before that were taken on Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the Caribbean have just been released by Democrats. The 10 photos and 4 videos have been made public just weeks after President Trump signed a bill ordering the release of all the files being held on the convicted paedophile who died in prison. All the files have to be released before Christmas. Let's cross to our North America editor, Sarah Smith, who's been looking at the images. Sarah, what do they show?
Well, so as you say, there are both still photographs and video taken around the property. They were released by the US Virgin Islands government to the Oversight Committee, who have now published them. And you can see the exterior of the compound and around the pool area, but also inside the house. There are images of what appear to be bedrooms, bathrooms and living areas. And remember, this is the property visited by several very well-known people associated with Jeffrey Epstein, and also the property where many of his accusers say that they were forced to perform sexual acts for Jeffrey Epstein's friends and contacts. So, if there is to be any further legal action taken over this, these pictures will probably be an important bit of evidence, and they're released now as we're waiting for all of the information that the US Justice Department holds on Jeffrey Epstein. These are what's known as the notorious Epstein files. These are the files that an act of Congress has been passed saying that they must be published by the 19th of December. So there's just over 2 weeks now until the White House has to make public the information that the government has on Jeffrey Epstein, and lawmakers are writing to the Justice Department demanding to know what's going to be released and exactly when, so they're determined to keep the pressure on to make sure nobody forgets that we're coming up to that deadline when the Epstein files have to finally be released.
Yes, and on that, Sarah, Democrats and others have been concerned, haven't they, that because of further investigations ordered by President Trump, that might mean that some of the material isn't released, or is released in such a heavily redacted way as to actually leave lots of questions. So do we have any further information on that?
Well, that's what lawmakers have written to the Justice Department just today to ask about, whether there are any procedural hurdles that might stop them being able to publish the Epstein files in their entirety. Because although we know that new investigations have been ordered, and we know that a fresh investigation could be a reason not to release all of the information, we haven't heard from the Justice Department whether they believe that that's the case, whether they will be hampered in releasing everything that they hold. So lawmakers are eagerly trying to find that out as we have, just over 2 weeks, something like 16 days legally before the files have to be published. And so during that time, they're keeping the pressure on to make sure that they get as much information as possible and trying to find out what they might not get and why not.
OK, Sarah, thank you very much. Sarah Smith, our North America editor.